يا باشا من شارك الثار
SHALAM ya cha come on, they count down stick. Keep stick it there.
God.
Alright. Welcome to another episode in the conflict zone. Look at the conflicts that are holding us down. Alright. I'm watching one time with the brothers, and watching the sisters. Alright, we're jumping in something this week now. We're talking about systematic oppression. You ever hear about a man named you ever hear about a book named Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Yeah, kind of concept.
Alright, written by a man named Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay.
A Japanese. He's a fourth generation American. Japanese. Which means that he have three fathers before it. Over there.
Kind of God.
I think he grew up in Hawaii. He was an Air Force pilot. Flew mission in Vietnam for America. Alright, so we're going to look at one of these videos. I might not get to analyze all like this week, but you know, we want to play the video. We don't want to play and listen and make the comment. I'm talking about investments. And you know what is looming over the monetary system of the world. I mean the collapse, possible collapse that is looming. I know what I said. A lot of people are going to end up poorer than them did when that happened. If and when that happened. But one thing is almost sure, basically, is that the rich is gonna get richer instead. Let's just jump into it. Let him do the talking. I'll listen for a while and come in.
God.
Big recession is coming.
It's the end of this, or the end of the American empire. The question is it China next? I don't trust the Chinese communists. You'll own nothing.
Robert, does money make you happy?
The game makes me happy. This is toilet paper. We get rich using debt. But what do our schools teach us? Stay out of debt. That's how stupid school teachers are.
Why isn't this taught in schools? Because surely people should know this stuff.
Because
Can I say something, sir?
Yeah, man, so I don't know why the system is glitching like this. The pause it and you still hear it.
Oh, yeah, I'm playing. Yeah, me I play it, sir. Because I remember you sent me, I say, I think you will work with. I think you want me to play it. I'm going to take it down.
You watch it. All right.
Oh,
Yeah, you control. You control it.
Come on.
school teachers are Marxist. In America, they're called woke. So they believe that white guys oppressing the poor and all that stuff. That's not true. It's our schools oppress people because we use debt. We don't pay taxes legally.
Do you pay any tax?
No.
Is your beef real with Grant Cardone?
School teachers are oppressing. It is a school teacher that is really oppressing. But then again, I can't blame the teacher. I blame the system.
In America, they're called woke. So they believe that white guys oppressing the poor and all that stuff. That's not true. It's our schools oppress people because we use debt. We don't pay taxes legally.
Do you pay any tax?
No.
Is your beef real with Grant Cardone?
I beef with a lot of guys.
Why does
all right,
Dave
all right.
Ramsey say all debt is done?
Because Dave,
All right. So what I must say is that what I must say, people going around, saying white guys oppressing, which our scripture tell us that still. But what he must say is not, and so much them is the school teachers. So basically, because we in the truth know the bottom of it, who was programmed the school system to teach what they are teaching today.
Right.
It's the same person. But in a way, you need we might try to show you say you need to open your eyes. Right? Because the monetary system that you have using and the way you were in school when I used to teach yourself to do. Save, right? Everybody used to have this little saving book. And you save money into it and things. no children never used to see that money there. You know where disappeared. And it's a saving time. But the thing is, you were taught to save money. But he's now showing the other angle because really and truly, people have been saving money over the years and say them saving to do something. You have the money saved over the years now. Not today, it actually devalued. In the days when $1,000 was a good money, I had to bomb and save $1,000. If you have that $1,000 in a book till now, I even say 100,000 10 years ago, which you're not even getting 10% per annum. But the value that 100,000 of 10 years ago, when you used to buy, could I buy 10 years ago? You can't buy today. At this point again. So the money actually devalued. All right, go on again.
Ramsey's an idiot. That's why.
Robert Kiyosaki is literally the living god of real estate. And if you want me to get more guests like this, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on.
What's the problem? Your gym muscles don't work for real life. Big muscle.
Hey, shalom, money.
Robert, is the money system...
You want to get me in trouble, don't you?
Hey, Shalom, y'all watching me right now. Shalom.
Y'all watching that Shabbat Kathar.
Y'all about Shimmy, how was Shabbat? Don't. How y'all doing? Y'all twat?
So far, so good. Yeah.
Come concert.
Right.
Everything one year and you two act
Con.
most of them guys.
Yeah, man. So, all right, clear for me.
One gun.
No, we're at the end of an empire right now. It is the end. It's the end of this. And all empires always come to an end. The Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, Chinese were the earliest. Chinese were the first guys to use paper.
Right.
So what we're looking at today is the end of the American Empire. So it's a very dangerous time. It's explosive, with Palestine and Gaza. All the stuff that's going on is an end of times. Not biblical, but just an end of an era. Trouble when this comes to an end, war follows. That's what I'm afraid of. I went to Vietnam twice. I was a pilot in Vietnam, so I saw war. It's not good, obviously. I feel for both Palestinians and the Israelis. And but we're in dangerous times.
So if we're seeing the end of fiat currency as we know it, where do you think money moves to?
Good question. This here is a 1964 half dollar. 1964 was the year that this was real silver. But in 1964, the U.S. was now from England, the torch was passed to America. That was 1944, Bretton Woods and all this. And so America was the power. But every empire ends when they debase the currency. So this was 64. I was 17 years old. I remember looking, oh, that's nice, And then one day, I also looked up, and some of the coins looked like this.
And that is?
This is pure gold.
Yeah, 1 ounce.
Okay, but I look it up and go, oh my God, why does this coin have copper on it? And that was the end of the empire. Every empire dies when they violate this, when they change the money. So congratulations on all your success about being a real estate guy, because this was 64, then 71. President Nixon took the dollar off of the gold standard. And the reason you're doing so well today is because the dollar became debt, right? So real estate guys like my friend Trump and all that, we get rich using debt. Whereas the average person is told to work hard, this is toilet paper, save this, stay out of debt. And they're going broke today. I'm afraid for the average punter out there, So we're in serious trouble because with the end of the American empire, is China going to take over? I don't know.
Ray Dalio thinks so.
Well, Dalio also recommends, But anyway, I just want to commend you. I want to say the reason I'm here is because this here, you were.
Yeah, I was at the World Cup semi-final.
Pause. All right, so you can skip past the part of the matter about the world. All right, so in the meantime, analyze them. You say every empire die. No. Every empire dies when they move away from gold standard.
Right.
All right. What we know. That's why I see one of the people that I said this is silent people. Meaning it is fiat currency. So the fiat currency will devalue, and it devalues every year. So in more get on to now, more get on to as well as talking about what you think is the solution. And what about I think it's somewhere in this video in says gold and silver is God's money. Now if you notice in the scriptures, from the time Moses set the law, you commit certain sins, you have to pay a certain amount of silver to the temple. Moses are from Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. From that time, the beginning of the Israelite time as an organized nation, and the most established silver as our monetary denominator. Money, what we use for money. And you check all the way down to Christ. There has never been any changes to the amount of money you pay in the temple. What you're supposed to pay, a shekel of silver or something like whatever it was, when Christ came from that from the 1,000 years, it was still silver that you pay, and it was still the same amount because it doesn't don't devalue. But what devalue? Fiat money. So in other words, fiat money is what other thing they're using to destroy us as a people, but And the oppressor use it to hold the entire earth hostage.
Right.
Just think you can buy some oil from say Saudi Arabia. You want $1 billion worth of oil, whatever denomination you want to put in. And to pay Saudi Arabia that $1 billion, you just go to your printing press and print $1 billion each. Damn. Remember, gold and silver have to work for that, you know. But you know, the fiat money just printed.
Got on done.
And that is the danger now because they are, to me, America not managing it properly. They are too bureaucratic with the dollar. Bureaucratic in the sense where there's a lot of hidden agenda with the dollar. Where the money is really going. You know, a lot going into the military industrial complex, but you know, money seems to be disappearing other ways. Probably through the feds, I don't know. Play a little more.
So like you play some more?
Yeah, can.
Was debating Hillary Clinton, that criminal. The Clintons and Obamas, man, what a bunch of crooks they are.
Really?
But all politicians are crooks anyway. Anyway, I'm not getting political here. But Hillary Clinton, she was running against Trump. She says, and you don't even pay taxes. And what does Trump say to her? He means I'm smart. And so the reason I like what you're doing with real estate is you learn to use debt and you pay less taxes to go for this. But what I'm glad I'm in your program is once I realized this and this was all changing, the end game wasn't real estate. The end game was gold. So today, this is a U.S. silver buffalo. You can buy this for $30 US. I don't know it in pounds. This is 2,200. Okay. So which would you rather have today? Would you rather have this piece of toilet paper? Would you rather?
All right. So what they're holding up now is a silver coin and a gold coin. These are denominated not in terms of saying this is a dollar or whatever. This is a 1 ounce of silver that and 1 ounce of gold. Now, you might use the 1 ounce to say, all right, that's a dollar. So half ounce would be 50 cents. When you use real silver as money, which don't really devalue. But look at that silver coin where printed from 1960s, which is worth $30 now. And it is less than $1 when it was printed. So let's say they denominate that at 50 cents. And say this half ounce of silver at that time was 50 cents. Or you still have the silver coin in it. But an ounce of silver is probably, well, instead it worth roughly $30. So let's say an ounce, so if that is half ounce, then an ounce of silver is roughly $60. So let's use $60. So you have a 50-cent coin from in the 60s. That was worth 50 cents. But you have it and you keep it now. Because it is silver, it is now worth that $30. Right? Because they had removed the gold standard. If they had kept the gold standard, that 50 cent would have still worth 50 cents. No, that still value at 50 cents. But they removed the gold standard. So the cost of the silver and gold per ounce go. Gold is something like $2,000 per ounce. Just think about that. So, but in the Bible, and a gold appeared to the temple, you know, silver, because silver is really the money. And I've said that over and over again. So, him explain it a little better than me when it comes to the monetary denomination. But that was what people used to spend, and even the days when blacks used to rise prior to the Reconstruction and so on, this was the money that was spent, real silver. Which means a man work and he save 50 cents. I don't know, old man that 50 cents, they still value 50 cents, you know. You get what you understand? It does not devalue. But you have a dollar, a paper dollar. 10 years from now, from now, the things where you could buy with that dollar 10 years ago, you can't buy now. But the value of the 50 cents go up since they moved it. So it seems, you see, whatever you used to could have buy in the 60s, the 50 cents, that is where I pay roughly $30 for now. And it's the same gold kind. So all you need to do now is just sell the gold kind, same silver kind. Sell the silver kind, not as 50 cents, but sell it as silver. So this is how they trick me, monetarily. Pocket. And this is what they're trying to show you. Because them put them with the fiat money now, you have an economy that is run from debt. Hey, Officer Allah, job a guy 2 and 10 to me in the meantime. Sorry, 2 and 8. You have a monetary system that was run from gold and silver. And then them change it in the 70s. Because really and truly, from them time that, you know, in the 70s, the Jamaican dollar was stronger than the US dollar.
In the 70s?
In the 70s, yes.
I didn't know that, sir. I never knew that.
One Jamaican dollar used to give you $1 something US. And then from them make that heavy switch from the gold standard to the fiat money. You know, the dollar just, all the dollars around the world just behaving as if it's a diarrhea. So this is what they use and pick the pocket. You look at what how your parents, you know, work and save and buy a piece of land, right, Kayadwan? Follow me. Our parents, right? Work. I know in the States it's the house you have to buy. But here in Jamaica, you know, you can buy the land, you can put up a section of the house, and you add to it, and the land not going to stop you. But in the States, that's the next thing again too. You have to buy the whole complete house. And how do you buy that house? You go to the bank and you borrow money to buy that house. Back then, our parents, our foreparents, was able to buy a piece of land with this real silver money, so they could work and save their money, buy the land, and they build the house bit by bit, which is why we realize a lot of the older folks who was able to work and build a house in Jamaica, few young persons now can work and build a house, and then I go through mortgage from NHC or from the bank. You get me? Yeah, they have to go through the mortgage because the economy now is not backed by gold and silver, it's backed by debt. So when you get into that debt, because you poor and middle class people are not the investors, you know. It's the rest, the rich, the manufacturers and property owners and things who flip properties, you know, buy this property asset and hold it for a while and then sell it for a couple of years. They call it flipping. So them flip properties. Bank lend them money. Bank lend them your money, which you are not qualified to get. Right?
Concert.
Each time when them actually beg the rich man to come and borrow some money, then I beg you to borrow money for that. They can borrow money, which I've mentioned, I think, here in the campus room before too. It's easier for you to borrow money to build a house, to buy a house and buy a car rather than to start a business. Because for the rich, for the poor and the middle class, house and car is not asset enough. They teach us in school that is asset. But it's not asset unless it's making you money. A poor man with a car who is running it for taxi, that's an asset for him. Because that taxi is bringing in money for him.
Like you.
The rich or middle class who have a house without them rent, collected rent, that's an asset for him.
Salaki Adawan, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a heavy point because in the public school system, they never taught us the difference between an asset and a liability.
All right.
You know, and that's heavy what you bring it out. The fact that an asset is something that makes and generates money and income, you know, and a liability is money is something that you
Who's money from you?
that takes money from you.
Right.
And another point that you make, Adawan, Shalom Adawan, Yahweh Shem.
Yeah, Shamshukta, Shamshuktam, Zayakiam.
I'm out here talking some money. We'll come to Trinidad and skip across the border there and we'll look some gold in the country there. Yeah, real money. Yeah, man. Continue, Officer Allah.
Come, sir. I just wanted to also say that, you know, not only do the banks, you know, lend, you know, the upper class money, they lend them money at favorable rate, you know. And that's those rates determine how long it's going to take you to pay back that money.
Right.
You know, and they lend, you know, when we do get money, when they do lend us money, you know, typically it's for a mortgage, you know, where you're paying a mortgage every month on your home.
Right.
You know, it's very important to try to get
mortgage on cattle.
Right. It's very important to try to get the lowest rate, you know, that you possibly can, and you know, and that determine, you know, that's, you know, they go by, you know, certain factors, you know, your credit score, you know, your debt to income ratio, you know, which a lot of us, a lot of our people are in predicaments, you know, that to where we just lucky enough to get a house. We just lucky enough to get the loan, you know. So, you know,
Yeah. Hold on. And you get the loan for the house, and how much years it take to pay that?
So like you say that again, I don't want.
You get the loan for the house, and how much years it take you to pay that?
Oh, 30 years, I don't want.
There you go. And the mortgage is not necessarily steady. They are able to adjust the mortgage to suit the present climate.
Right.
So if the climate now have a high interest rate, they can bring in that high interest rate and make the mortgage go up. Yeah, continue with what you're saying.
Concert, so that's all out of one. I was just saying, a lot of our people, we don't have perfect credit, but some, they still will give you a loan with a high interest rate. And if you get behind on your mortgage, they're gonna come take your property. They're gonna put, your property gonna go into foreclosure.
Right.
You could be paying on that property 10 years, eight years, and then get behind on 1 or 2 payments, and then a white man comes and just take your property from you. So all those 8 years that you've been paying on it just go down the drain, just for nothing. So
right.
I yield, and it's so beautiful. It's so our laws are so beautiful because in our laws, the Most High has it written to where we cannot charge one another interest, on loans. So
right, because there was no interest with our monetary system.
Concert.
It doesn't depreciate, so there's no need for interest. You lend a brother a ounce of gold, which is money, which might worth $1,000. 5 years down the line, it's still worth $1,000, and it still have the spending power is still heavy on it. Understand? But they bring in now the thing there now, that fiat currency now, to take this away from you, to take away the real money from you. And it is in the scriptures. Jump to, give me the, before we move on, give me the Haggai 2 and 8 chapter. Haggai chapter 2, verse 8.
What book was that, Adawan?
Haggai.
Haggai.
Oh, yeah.
Haggai. Okay. Chapter. What chapter, sir?
2.
Sir.
Still okay. Give me the scripture again now.
Haggai 2, verse 8.
Now welcome.
I got it. Adawan. Okay, there we go. Sir. The book of Haggai, chapter 2, and verse 2.
Verse 8, kind of. 2 and 8.
Haggai, chapter 2, and verse 8. The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, said the Lord of hosts.
So that you hear the same man here, Robert Kiyosaki. There's a part in the video where I'm telling you that silver and gold, that is God's money.
Come.
So the rich understand that, But the poor, what the poor understand is the paper money. So in work all the days of his life, 70 years worth of work, might build a house, might get a car, but the true test now is when you reach pension. And then who knows how long you're gonna live after retirement. Let's say you live 20 years after retirement. Because the pension doesn't really change, you know. You're gonna find that maybe the man should die as a pauper. Because the money that you save up for pension depreciates.
Right.
But with God's money, which is silver and gold, you work for 70 years, you're gonna be rich. And this was what the white man understood about us, because probably it was figuring, they were trying to figure out how these people, we leave them alone and them growing so. They realized now that because the monetary system was allowing us to grow. Right? Monetary system now not allow people to grow. A lot of people, you see, there's a lot of illicit means being used to gain money now.
It's like if I may.
So yeah. Can.
Yeah. It's like and you know, I know you'll start the video that you're playing with this Moabite from the beginning, because I just had the opportunity now.
Hold on, is that a Moabite, you know, Ammonite?
Eh?
Ammon, he's an Ammonite, Japanese.
Ammonite, all right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So he's a Japanese then?
Can't.
I thought he was a Moabite too, sir.
Well, remember Moab, Ammon and brothers, you know.
Right.
Sir.
Right. So again, as you said, they come from the same family line, right? So you know, just in reference, and you make it even better. Because now it's like we are the confession of both now. Because remember now in the records where, you know, the Moabite mentioned that, you know, if these people, you know, do well, you know, and they serve the Lord, right? You know, they shouldn't go up against them, because he mentioned something, and you know, it strike a nerve now, and it's like, wait, if this, as you say, Ammonite recognize that, you know, that is the fall of our empire. If he could recognize that, then what we should recognize that, you know, that these records, you know, it's real. And you know, he mentioned that, you know, because I think he said that, oh, you know, the Chinese have been, you know, using this paper, you know, way before. You know, it had some kind of value or something like that. Now that was a reference to him being Moab now, right? So it is like they recognize something, right? And or he recognized something, and it's so biblical that everything that, you know, we've been saying, you know, the ISUPK and the Commander General Yana, as we bringing out, you know, is like, you know, it actually showing and it coming to pass. And you know, we should really take heed of this, because now out of this mouth, out of this hidden mouth, he recognized something. And you know, the sad, the as we say, the sad part about it, or the lying part about it, he tried to refute it and say, you know, I didn't mean to say this, but when I mean, this is not the end of the world now. So he spilled something, and then he tried to, you know, take back what he said. So he mentioning that this is not the end of the world. You already say what you have to say. And when we know what that world mean, we know that how is the end that, as we say, their ruling or their rulership.
Right. So that Salaki, sir, that's what he was getting at. He said it's not the end of all government, it's the end of the American rule over the world. So that's when
right.
It's the end of the world. And then he say, well,
Right.
it's not really the end of the world. Because what he's saying is that another nation going to rise up in the space.
Right. But remember, yeah, but remember, as we say, we know what the world or the world mean, or world or worlds, because now it have a S at the end, because now this is their world. So all of their as you said, the hidden worlds, it come into end. But if as he mentioned, that how we try to structure it is like all of them know that that their time in ruling it coming to end, because now all of them had an opportunity in ruling. So they had an opportunity to rule. So now, as we say, the most previous, as we say, is America, or the youngest is America. The Chinese, the Japanese, all of them had the chance in ruling.
Right.
All of them, as we say, and all of their empires fall.
Right.
All of their empires fall. So now, what's going to happen now? So-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, we going to have the opportunity to do what? To rule in righteousness. They didn't understand. Right now, they're fighting for power. That's why you can hold as you say, the paper and the coin, and just as you mentioned here now, we're reading out of our records, our history, and it's like our Father telling us now, as we say in verse 8, as you say, the silver is mine, the gold is mine. Say it who? Say it who? Who's saying this? Because now this is. So now I'm making it known to you all that this silver is mine, this gold is mine, and all the, as we say, the heathen should stand, as we say, where they're supposed to be and serve. Because now, as we say, the Lord is our Father and He's stepping in right now. This is why, again, all that we see taking place right now, it shouldn't be taken lightly. It shouldn't, we now should be more than ever, willing to, as we say, to bring that reminder to our brothers as this time roll on. And brothers and sisters who are online right now, whether it be in Jamaica, Trinidad, in the Caribbean, North, South, and Central America, who tuning into the program, this conflict zone, as I said, I just look this strike and nerve. This little video is strike and nerve, and it's like, nah, we should really pay attention, and again, evermore, we should, as we say, cleave to know or seek out the ISUPK, seek out the truth, and remove ourselves from the religious organization. These, as we say, these purple pigs and them, these groups and them, because they know, as we say, they know they're just a group.
That's right.
A group that break off or didn't take time to learn or sit down and learn. Their leader, their quote unquote leader.
Mm-hmm.
We should take heed to that, and brothers, as we say, because we know they're tuning in. They've been tuning in all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And more than ever, as we say, as brothers, move around. This should be, as we say, our voice, in everything that we do, to bring that reminder to our brothers and sisters. Right? Yes, sir. Okay. Right.
Yes, sir. if I may, he did try to say that, you know what I mean, the world will come to an end, but biblical, like he might try to get the Bible out of the way, you know. The world will come to an end, but not biblically. That I know what he might talk about, you know. Then him try elude like a China will be the next ruler of the earth, but like, you know what I mean, the other one them must say, you know what I mean, if them did know the Bible like we in the ISUPK, they would know who are going to rule the earth coming up, or who are going to be the next, you know what I mean, ruler of the world coming up next. You understand? That's why it's so important, like what Sir said, to be inside the ISU. You understand? That.
Right. So touch a little more this video.
Go on.
All right.
Have this piece of silver, or would you have gold? The average person wants the paper. This is toilet paper. And that's why people are in trouble today, because America's about to crash, as you know. We're in serious trouble. Our debt is at all time.
Right. So what I'm going to show you with the paper dollar and the 50-cent silver is that they go on the street with the money and they hold up with $1 and a 50 cent, and they ask the person, would you rather to have this 50-cent silver, or would you rather to have this paper dollar? And everybody say they will take the paper dollar. But then I explain now that this 50-cent silver is worth $30. This $1 here is fairly paper. And it keep devaluing. Yeah.
I'm high. America is now the biggest debtor nation in the world. Wow. Worse than Japan. See, so Japan has high debt, but the Japanese people are rich because they save. Americans are in debt, the country is in debt, and we have this guy Biden putting us more in debt. The first thing that Biden did when he came to office, I'm an oil guy, I went to school for oil. I drove tankers with Standard Oil. First thing that Biden did was he cut the Keystone pipeline. The pipeline ran from Canada all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. When he cut that pipeline, that was Biden did. Trump loved it. But when Biden cut it, I still sell oil. I'm an oil guy. So I have real estate, oil, all this other stuff. I was selling oil for $30 a barrel when Trump was in office. When Biden came to office, oil went to $130 a barrel. That sent inflation through the roof. It wiped out mom and dad. Today, the spooky thing about the world economy is the gap between rich and poor getting wider, because people are working for this and not this and this here. So the question I ask people, which is a better investment? Gold, silver, or paper?
Well, I think since 71, fiat currency, certainly the pound, is down more than 85% of its value, whereas gold's up thousands of percent in the same time.
Yeah.
So I know, well, let me just ask it straight. Why isn't this taught in schools? Because surely people should know this stuff.
All right.
Because school teachers are Marxist.
So that other person who was interviewed now, that British guy, because since 1971, the pound has lost 80-something% of its value. This is talking about the strong English pound, which is still strong against the dollar. So if it loses 88% of its value, and our money is seen as forever below this money, what do you think happened to we? Now you see why we in Jamaica support. Yeah. This is the kind of systematic oppression that is on us from the monetary system. Right? So this other guy, he might explain to the man now, which the other guy noted, because he's a property, he's a real estate dealer too. But what Kiyosaki is trying to show, and it was probably the only billionaire to come down to people and show them, hey, system you rob you, you know. Because here when we're buying, cut this the Keystone Pipeline, when it was said, oil was selling for $30 a barrel. And when they put the Keystone Pipeline, oil price went through the roof, went up to $100 per barrel. Guess what? He have oil well enough. He owned oil well as well. So he was selling oil for $30 a barrel. And when Biden come in the office, he start sell at what he did caused oil to go up to $100 per barrel. And that sent inflation to the roof. So the average middle class and poor get poorer. But what happened to him now was already rich? What do you think?
You said what happened to the upper class, Adawan?
Right.
Oh, the rich get richer and the poor get poor.
Exactly. They got richer because they are not now getting $30 per barrel for their oil. They are now getting $100. While the middle class and the poor get poorer.
Right. So which middle class and which poor?
The average person that is the middle class.
Right.
And the poor.
The reason why I asked that question, right, because he mentioned something there, and again, this is something that we shouldn't take light, because now he said here he say the Japanese people, right? So you notice he cover a broad perspective. He cover his nation. He say we are smart people. He didn't say middle class. He didn't say lower class. He didn't say upper class. Right. So now, when we look at ourselves, we set a class ourselves. When they look at themselves, they understand that they are one people, and this is the mindset that as we say, that we have been being brought back to understand that we belong to our family, because now he recognizes family despite middle class, whatever. He didn't say that all. He said when he sell oil, right? It was for that. He didn't say the middle class Japanese. He didn't say the upper class Japanese, but he recognized the family, and this is something that we should really understand. As we say, we know. As we say, with our class, our people, but he didn't mention the class within his family. He say we are smart people. Japanese people are smart people. And again, this is why the class way Commander General YAHANNA did with the model minority. This is something that we should understand, because now we thinking as Black people that we're not smart, we can't do business, we don't understand economics, we don't understand as we say the science behind a lot of things, but that is not true. And I would say men like these, heathens like these, would always, spread, and with the help of, as we say, the so-called white man, would continue to spread a lot of propaganda. And this is why.
Hello.
Again, in this school, the truth.
The pros are while ago now. We didn't
all right, remember the last thing I say?
This is why.
Oh, yeah, yes. All right, yes. So as I said, this is why only in this school, the truth would always be taught, and the truth to so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, to this house, to this family, and we would only reap the benefits and understand that by actually, I would say, come and sit down in these classes and come and ask questions, because this heathen, he's sitting in an interview and questions is being asked, and what is being given towards, or towards these question answers. We tell brothers and sisters, come to class, ask the questions because it's important. And this is a perfect example. By asking questions, it always answers. Yes.
Right. Right. So, but it kind of expose them or them robbing the poor. So, trickery. Is a tricky hard man tricking? It's definitely a tricky hard man trick. Play some more.
My poor dad, rich dad, poor dad. It's a story of a Marxist versus a capitalist. You know, my poor dad was an academic type. He was a PhD, which stands for poor, helpless, and desperate. He's a smart guy. He was in school all the time. He knew all the answers to everything. But he didn't know anything about this here. And my rich dad was a man who had no school, and he ran the family store. So as a boy of 13, he began learning about money. And he started saying, he says, the mistake is our schools teach us to work for this, not this.
Why does Dave Ramsey say all debt is dumb?
Well, because Dave Ramsey is an idiot. That's why he shit me. No, I mean, pardon my French. I mean, he and I, who's your target? You know, when we first got together, I said, who is your demographics, right? You guys are real estate guys. Dave Ramsey is not your teacher. You're their teacher. Does that make sense? So like I'm a pilot. I didn't ask a basketball player to teach me how to play, to fly. So when I went to Vietnam, I wanted the best teachers. So if you're going to be in real estate, Dave Ramsey is not your teacher. You are. If you understand that, you choose your teachers. So Ramsey's advice is good for the average person who is trying to save this stuff here. Think about this, okay? I was flying in Vietnam. I bought my first gold coin. I paid $50 for it. So it was 50 of these for one of these. Today is 2,200 for one of these.
And what has the dollars gone down by?
And mom and daddy are working hard, staying out of debt like frickin' idiots.
Yeah.
But it's best advice for mom and dad. They're the punter. You know, I use the term punter. They just have no idea what's going on. They get up, they get a pint, they're happy. So, but if you're going to be a rich man or a poor man, a rich man, your end game is gold. This has been money for centuries. This is silver. It's the better investment today. In the US, it takes 35 of these to buy one of these. So I tell my brothers and my sisters and all that, hey, trade this piece of toilet paper in for this. Oh no, Dave Ramsey said save money. And my family's broke, but they follow my poor dad. They go, I have a master's degree. What do you have?
And a master's degree can get someone 100,000 in debt, can't it?
All right, so a little background on the rich dad program. Poor dad, when the book went right. All right, so as a Japanese, he grew up in Hawaii. So my field father, who had a PhD in education and was working, but he had a neighbor who was, the neighbor's son was his friend. And the neighbor's father was rich. So him start go follow a friend and go around to that father and start learn from the man. And say, oh, you don't have no qualification and you rich. So the rich dad teaching said, what you need to understand is balance sheet. What is asset, what is liability, and how you make money. So actually poor, he go back to him poor dad and ask him, it's probably the same question. And the poor dad then saying to save. But the poor dad, that one I call poor dad, have a PhD. So by the time he reach pension, the pension money now on you. And the saving wipe out. But the rich dad now understands that you should buy assets. Actually got richer. So, all we know as Israelites today now, this is where we have to try to focus on now. What is God's money? Silver and gold. If you notice, whenever a nation come up, they always carry, what they used to carry, silver and gold, when they come to attack us, or to overthrow us. They come with silver and gold, they come to buy slaves. But when the Lord was with us, I same thing that would appear all of us. The Lord was with us. So the fleet leaving the silver and gold behind. But that's how we all the most I use war to give us silver and gold. That is real money. It doesn't depreciate. Even though the paper dollar depreciate, you saw the price of the silver and gold. When the paper dollar depreciate, the price of silver and gold, it basically remains at the same value, meaning even though you pay $2,000 for it now, that was back in the days, whenever time America used to use the gold standard. That was what you can buy with $2,000 now, was what you could buy with an ounce of gold back then. So get what I'm saying?
Okay, sir.
But it's the same ounce of gold. So the value of the gold actually increased. While the value of the paper money gone left with
Decrease.
Right? Yeah. So this is why our people are why. So you see how many things going against us in this world, man. Even the one money, the oppressor weaponized against we. And that is they're working for. You get me? That's what they're working for. So we just keep. You ever see when a vehicle stop and it's spinning? That is us as a people. You now get a job and you say, yeah, nice paying job. 10 years from now, money, the Jamaican dollar devalue at a rate of them trying to keep single digit inflation, but many times it goes 10%. And it's a move like that every year. And some items don't go up by 10%, they go by more than that. But how does your wages move? You get me? The wages now don't move. 2-3 years, they don't move. But the buying power, spending power of your money going down. And we don't have no control over that as a nation. The Japanese, why his people in Japan could remain with their wealth is because their government was able to put system in place to protect the people from the systematic monetary default in devaluation. Who is protecting us? You understand? We don't even have our own money. We have a Japanese yen. We rely on Jamaican dollar, which is pegged to the US dollar. All of the monetary denominations in the Caribbean pegged to the US dollar. And they keep on devaluing the US dollar. Right? Anybody who write a business plan 2 years ago realize now that if they didn't implement it then, it's going to take more money now to implement it. And it's the same thing to buying. So, what I'm saying now is that you're working using your paper money and buy the gold and the silver and keep the gold and the silver. So 10 years down the line now, you change it back that is how you get more money for that. That is how you actually see your savings there. But in the case of the rich people now, which is, I don't know of any rich black investor. Maybe we have 1 and 2 in America who is hiding, married to some white woman, push them up front. I don't know, could be. But the thing is, they are the ones who get the money from the bank to borrow, and they buy assets. On their balance sheet, it's a loan. And you can't tax, the government can't tax a loan. So even though they buy asset and the asset is turning some money, it's not taxable. So they're already rich, making money, not paying any taxes. You're already poor, getting poorer, and paying taxes. You understand?
No, sir.
It's one way out with crisis or redemption.
That's right.
I mean, you might lucky enough to start a business and the business go on good enough. Yeah, while, but you reach retirement age now and you still have that business. Your children, if you hand it over to them, boy, trust me, because they didn't, they're not going to take up the same what I call it now, diligence that you use in the business. But then they have problems. Sometimes it's approved, but somehow, if you check our history, even present times, a lot of the black startup business, when they get successful, some white man find a way to buy them up. Always the person who buys them out. So what, you don't nothing to pass on to the next generation coming in.
Right.
Which way when we had our land back in the days in Jerusalem. Your vineyard, your land that goes to your firstborn. And the land can't melt away. And our laws, land no really, and a sell land. Especially in farmland. It's like a lease. Because it comes back to you every 50 years. So you see, the Most I knew about these things long before he made us into a nation. Yeah. I'm telling you, don't somebody can pull up not charging interest to your brother.
Yeah, so like if I may add, I guess stepping out, right? You okay, continue. Right.
No, we're soon close.
Yeah?
We're soon close. Within the next 5-10 minutes.
No, that's like a continue that as a run. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, some shukatan.
Y'all about Shimmy Howard Shabbat Thumb.
Right. All right, so you'll find that later.
1 second, sir.
So, I mean, these are some a little financial knowledge that a lot of people never don't know this. So you are being tricked right under your nose. You understand? That's a serious thing, you know.
Come, sir. Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother.
Right, so usury is interest. You're charging interest upon lending. Go on.
Come, sir. Usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury.
Right. So we can Can't let our brother anything and ask for more than what you let him. Because money don't be value. Our money never used to be value. It works the same. The same thing it is worth today. 100 years from now, it worth the same thing. You know how many wealth our people would have been able to accumulate if that was still the case?
Right.
Yeah, because prior to the 70s when I made that switch to the gold standard, from the gold standard, and people work on them, put on $100. Well, and I think 100 in them time, and put on $1. And they do that over 20 years. When they check up whatever it accumulates, whatever I could have bought 20 years ago, you can still buy today. So this is what we have problem with now. Finish this. Oh, we finished it already now. We finished Deuteronomy. Let's finish with that, right?
On time, sir.
All right. So, what you can see one number the video stop. I'll pick up from that point next.
Ghana one can 12 minutes 53 seconds.
Yeah, that's what we get. It's a lot of interesting, you know. So this exposes how you are being oppressed. One of the ways how you are oppressed, because this dog not really the police holding you down on the street and kill you though. So you see, we are being kicked from all angles.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so have anything to add, Officer Kayada?
Yeah, sir.
Officer Malak?
La, sir. You too.
Wow. All right, so we're gonna chip it here for this week. We're gonna do more than the hour, but time well spent still. You know, some monetary, real money education. Because it crashes really coming in. But when we play some more in the video, the one here understand what I'm telling you. The crash, the same crash, who's gonna damage some people. It's gonna help some people. But who's gonna help is the one who is able to have some money to buy cheap assets. So it goes back to the same thing, buying assets. All right, so with that, we pass over now to Officer Kayada. Can take us up.
All right, clap it up. Still like I said, I'm not familiar with the outro, you know what I mean? But I don't know if I the regular outro you want me.
Where you use that? Where you use that?
Okay.
So
Still
the guy use the countdown.
No, I don't mean that. I mean like for the show, but
yeah.
I guess you want me to just close it like I'm a closed class, basically.
No. Just play the outro.
Countdown?
Yeah, the countdown.
Okay, come on.
So salute out and bow to the countdown. I'm waiting on an outro from that. Yeah.
Okay, come on, cancel. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to basically say, all right, so shalom to everybody watching. I'm Adam Shabbat. Yes, sir?
You don't have to say that. You don't have to have Adam Shabbat. Just shalom.
Okay, come on. All right, so to everybody watching, you know what I mean? Tune in again next week for the conflict zone. You understand? Every Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Everything already. Remember to like, share, follow, subscribe, and with that, shalom.
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 Yeah,